You're watching BCTV. We're all about Branford. You're watching BCTV, Branford Government Television, a service of Branford Community Television. This program is brought to you in part through the support of the town of Branford.
Good evening. Welcome to the October 25th, 2018 Board of Fire Commission meeting. The first thing on our agenda tonight is we're going to do some interviews, so we need a motion.
I'll move we enter executive session.
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. We are now back in session. We've just performed our interviews, and I need a motion for the captain's position.
You gonna make a motion?
Oh, okay. I make a motion that we appoint Craig O'Rourke to the position of captain in the Branford Fire Department.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And for the deputy chief's position, I need a motion.
I make a motion that we promote Jason Karpovich to deputy chief.
I second that.
Kathy, a second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right. All right, we need a motion. Our meeting minutes was from September 27th, 2018.
There's some corrections, eh?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
there was two corrections that were made to those.
Okay.
Since I sent them to you, it was just correcting the votes that were taken.
Oh, okay, that's fine, that's fine. All right. So I need a motion for them.
I make a motion as corrected.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Minutes, okay. All right, and committee reports. Finance Commissioner Riccio.
All right. There's no transfers today. We are still funding the replacement of 5 positions from overtime and sick accounts. Also 2 vacancies due to retirement, and then 1 vacancy by resignation, and 3 long-term illnesses. Chief, we hope to be back full strength by December or close to it.
The 2 firefighters in the academy finish up at the beginning of December.
Okay.
Very shortly thereafter, we'll be able to bring them online and they can alleviate the overtime. We have 1 position we're hoping to fill from the lateral certified candidate list.
Okay.
That posting closes October 31st. We already have applications received.
Okay.
At that point, we'll be going through the process, and hopefully we'll be able to put somebody on to fill that vacant position. And then because they're certified, they're not going to be going to the fire academy.
Right, this is a lateral move. from
This is a
another
lateral
department.
move for them.
Yep.
So that'll help as well. In regards to the people who are out for some of the long-term injury illness, we have at least 2 that will be, 1 for sure that will be back before probably the 2nd week of November, and then another that is should be early December.
Right.
And we still have 1 that is kind of an unknown, so not sure where that's going, but it's
Well, it's out of our hands.
it's out of our hands
Right.
right now. So
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's all I have.
That's it? Okay. Personnel, Commissioner Massey is not here, so Chief, do we have?
just an update with that. Joe Mazarella and Maxwell Brown are the 2 firefighters at the fire academy. They're in their going to be beginning their final month, and they're both doing very well. We get quarterly reports from the fire academy, and we've gone up to see them a few times, so they're doing well. And the job posting for the certified firefighter closes October 31st. And we are in the recruitment phase of the grant, the SAFER grant, so we will be going through both the lists, the certified list and the statewide list, as well as there'll be an internal posting as well for that job, and we hope to, but that, the 8 firefighters, the performance period doesn't start until February. It's funded beginning in January, so we're probably, once we have the firefighters and everybody's been given a conditional offer and the background checks and everything comes back, we'll probably bring them on a little bit before the actual performance period, which the grant allows for. We just have to make notification so we can start the orientation process. Those firefighters that will be going to the fire academy will go, and the rest, if they're certified firefighters, will just go to work.
Do you anticipate a lot of applications coming in?
We hope so. We certainly have. No, I don't believe we'll have a ton of the laterals, but I think that we'll have enough to help us through the, to alleviate the expense of having to send people to training, additional training above and beyond our normal orientation period. As far as, we require you to be a paramedic, and that's really the thing is that these young kids, if they want a career, being a paramedic is, if that's something that you're vocationally apt to, then you're guaranteed a job, and quite frankly, you're pick a job. So to those of you out there looking for a career,
Go to paramedic school.
go to paramedic school.
license.
Right. Oh my gosh, yes. Training is me. I have my report here. As I state every month, we are always training. There's always something going on. As the chief stated, we do have 2 of our young gentlemen up at the fire academy right
Everything
now.
for you.
We have 9 members, 9 volunteers who have completed the Q license.
That's the endorsement for
To drive.
It's for a driver.
driving fire apparatus.
Right.
You don't need a commercial driver's license. You need a Q endorsement.
Why do they call it Q?
It's a good question.
No, I'm just curious.
I do not know. It's a
Yeah.
DOT thing, but we do have instructors here. We
Okay.
do a train the trainer.
Right.
We do an emergency vehicle operators course, and the DOT. We follow the same curriculum as if you were going to get your CDL license and the road time and everything, and then we certify the drivers to the DMV.
And one of our new firefighters, Mako, he has just completed his medical control ride time, and so now he is working as a paramedic. So good
That's
for
the
him.
final step. The doctor, you ride with the attending physician from
Exactly.
the hospital. They come out, and when they feel that you've demonstrated the competencies they're looking for, then they give
got
you the
it.
final okay. So
You got it.
that's
Okay.
very proud of him for that.
Good.
Good,
And
good,
we
good.
have 2 volunteer members who have completed the pump operator certification. Okay. Many of them have done hazmat technician, rope technician, refreshers. They were completed. We have a volunteer firefighter, Robert Denhart from Engine 5, who is new apparatus operator. Is that right?
Mhm.
Okay. And then Chief Mahoney and Gary Boomquist, our Deputy Chief of Safety, completed the Fire Officer 4, the test in the next 3 weeks. Oh, you got past the test. Okay, that's it. Next is apparatus, Commissioner LaCroix.
Ongoing maintenance, replacing light bulbs. Firefighter really spends a lot of time doing that. And preventative maintenance is always ongoing. As they're probably getting ready pretty soon to check all the chains on all the automatic chain deployment. And Tax 6, our brush truck has been condemned, as it says here, by the mechanic for excess corrosion, and it's been brought to Public Works for auction.
It's been sitting out for how many years?
Well, aside from that, it is a 20-year-old pickup truck,
Yeah.
essentially.
That's another.
They didn't really
It,
rust-proof them 20 years ago.
From the
More or less than that.
bottom up, it's in really bad shape. So what the issue is for us is that the frame it has so much corrosion that where the the shock points are. There's nothing to even weld
Nothing to hold on
to
to.
put them, the
hold it
springs.
together.
So it's all suspension. It's not worth it for us to be a firefighting vehicle. Public Works has it. They're evaluating it to see if they would like to put some into it. You know, I think mostly what they're going to get out of it is parts if it doesn't go to the auction. So that, since I wrote this, I've learned that, you know, they may be able to use it, and if that's the case, more power to them. Because I don't think even if it goes to auction, that the taxpayer will gain any more benefit than the Public Works would use by, you know, whatever parts they can get off of it. So.
Oh, wow. Something like that. Okay. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Buildings, Commissioner Kavor, he's not here tonight. Anything, Chief?
So nothing's really changed as far as the buildings, Commissioner. The Station 9 is at the state. They're finalizing their portion of the bid review. It comes back here, we put our bid package together, it goes back there, they look at it one more time. And so that's kind of where it is right now. I very much expect it within the next week or so. And at which point it will go out to bid. Once the bids are received and are evaluated, if appropriate, the bid will get awarded to the you know, appropriate bidder. And then we're still looking to March because of the you know, it just doesn't make sense to start now.
In the winter.
Unfortunately, it was delayed because of the elevator changes and reviews back and forth with the state. So we're a little frustrated with it, but we can't really, do anything about it.
Okay. All right. Commissioner Fox, EMS.
The year-to-date ambulance revenue is $660, $370. And there were 1,684 calls for service July the 1st through October the 24th, resulting in 1,315 transports to area hospitals. 78% of the calls resulted in transport.
A lot of people.
They're busy, very busy.
Certainly busy. Oh, my God. So, okay. And the last is pension and communications. None. None.
Okay.
We only meet a couple times a year, so.
Yeah.
Okay. And the next would be the chief's report.
Okay, so since the beginning of the fiscal year, we have handled over 2,000 calls for service, averaging still about 18 a day. October is traditionally the month where we put a spotlight on fire prevention, although we try to continue that all year round. But the teams have been in all the schools doing fire prevention activities, and we have had contact with more than 1,000 students so far, going through either the smoke trailer or, with the younger kids we do right in the classroom. So that's ongoing. One sad note, longtime member and former chairman of this commission, Fire Commissioner retired Bill Thompson, passed away this week. The department did render honors at the visiting hours, and then members of his company. He was a member of Company 4 for over 70 years.
74 years.
And he was always active in the community. So, certainly give our condolences to the Thompson family. Other than that, it's pretty regular business right now. We have my biggest focus is getting the recruitment for these positions going, and everything everything else is just kind of doing its thing right now, and everybody's doing a great job. I certainly can't say enough about the troops. Not a lot of crazy stuff this month. It's been a little bit quieter, which is somewhat refreshing because we had a really busy early or late summer, and so right now we're taking advantage of a little bit of a slower pace to get a lot of this training done, and we, again, now that the weather's cooler but not cold, this is our time of the season for us where we really do some pretty intense hands-on training, because you could not pass out from the heat.
From the heat.
Just in training,
In
so.
the equipment, right.
So that's really our focus right now, and everything's going good. So as far as all the different committee reports, I'm going to give Trista the copies of all the different charts and graphs and reports that I generally give. If you'd like to take a look at them, she'd be more than happy to make copies for you. But we've been killing a lot of trees, and usually I put them in the recycling bin. So.
A couple of things, Chief. I saw in the Branford Review, the sound, oh God. There's a couple of houses being torn down. Are we able, I mean, do you ever investigate whether we could possibly use those houses for treatment?
Well, we always do, and we ask the building department to keep an eye out.
Yeah.
Traditionally, what the problem is that by the time the homeowner gets the permits, they have the remediation done if it's necessary, and they get certified, they want to take that thing down because
Right
they got a
away.
builder waiting to do it.
Okay,
So we don't get them nearly as often as we used to because of the regulatory environment. So when we do, we certainly take advantage of it. We've been using that house on Church Street, which the town owns, but that's going to go away any day now. So.
You sent out a memo earlier this month from the water company asking the department to keep tabs on the all the maintenance that we do for the fire hydrants and stuff. So do we have a regular schedule where we go out and check all the stuff that they want us to do?
We do not have a regular schedule for checking the amount of hydrants that we have in the town of Branford. We pay the water company $762,000 a year to do that. I am going to write a letter to the water company because of that. There are some issues that I have with the maintenance that they claim to be doing.
Okay.
Some of it is obvious. If Don, on your way home, you probably see that same hydrant on the corner of Indian Neck Avenue that's been missing the 2.5 cover for the last. So if you're telling me you're going out to pump hydrants and make sure that they're good for the winter, but this cap's been missing, there's another one. And these are just the ones that I see. So when we do have issues with hydrants, we have a mechanism to report back and forth with the water company. But I need to make sure that I can voice my concerns with the water
Yes,
company
yes.
in regards to, we certainly abide by what they would like us to do, and yet there was a large disruption in service in the western portion of town, evidently that came to me by word of mouth from multiple people that said they didn't have any water, which means the water was shut down, but the fire department was never notified. This is the second water main break or problem where we had no idea
That there was
until
no
the
water.
citizens start
Oh
complaining.
my gosh,
Should there be a fire during that event,
we're in trouble.
you know, it would give us a jump to get extra resources.
Pumpers up there, yeah.
So we're gonna bring that concern to the water company.
I found the letter very interesting. I mean, it just, okay, all right. It's in your pocket. Assistant Chief's report, we have nothing from Sean.
No, Sean's at the movie theater doing a opioid community event to talk about the crisis that's going on in the community. So he's doing that tonight. Sean has, along with Deputy Chief Bloomquist, have been conducting some more interviews for our part-timers. It's kind of an ongoing process, so we've been doing it every so many months till we get enough people on board to keep the program moving along. So they've been doing that, and among the many inspections that have been ongoing, and I think we have been doing a really good job keeping up with things we weren't able to get for with the advent of the inspector's position.
So it's working out.
It's working out tremendously.
That's Rob.
Rob, yes. And the drill master stipend positions, the 3 positions that we stipends last year, that's coming together very nicely. Once they get up and running, it's just the kind of the ramp up phase. They had to understand what I was looking for, and each take their part, form kind of some subcommittees of subject matter experts. Driver training was one of those, and that's the first result of this, is that we now have a very good driver training program, and so all that's going very well.
I know there's just a lot to do. Okay, old business, I don't think we have any.
No.
No? New business?
I have one thing.
Oh, we have one thing, okay.
Under old business, the only thing I will say is that the boats have been ordered, so that's
Oh,
going.
okay. All right.
The ambulance, we're still looking at some different options.
Okay.
And then the gear sizing is going to start for all the stuff that we talked about last meeting. Under the new business, we have, because of the expense and the expertise and the training that's required of certain specialized rescue techniques that we may need to participate in. Hazardous materials is one of them. Dive rescue, rope rescue, confined space, certain things we participate as part of a regional team. And so what I had started to do, as you guys are aware of, is for those members that have interest, I'm trying to get a couple of people from each shift to be a subject matter expert or a technician level for some of these things, and I send them. Guilford's kind of become the hub of the regional team. And so I send those people to Guilford to maintain their training, to get their training, and then they bring it back for the operational end. So the difference is that most fire departments operate at what's called the operational level, where the technicians, if it has that, may have to put the level A suits on and go do something to stop something. It's a much higher level, and the thing is that those types of events, while they're high risk, are very low frequency events. So for one community to have all of the equipment and the personnel it would require, it's just not cost effective. So we've been sending them over there. But we have some procedural issues I wanted to bring to your attention, because I think it's important to get the commission to sanction what we're doing, because you are the sanctioning body. So in the event of, for instance, a dive emergency, we have 2 members who are part of the regional dive team. If they were to be called out right now and they were working, we're going to send them right away. So that's the procedure. We're going to dispatch them. They'll get put on a mutual aid incident. If they're working on separate units, they'll be put together and put out. If they're at home, they're just going to go from home. They're supposed to notify, the deputy chief would be notified of the request, and then they would go. These are not frequent calls. They are not calls that are called out lightly. So when they're needed, we kind of don't have a lot of times to say, well, do you really need them? We have to send them. So I just wanted to let you know that's how we're operating these days with those types of calls. We have utilized the dive team, unfortunately, here a few times. In the same thing with, should we have a trench collapse? Should we have a serious confined space incident where we required that technical level stuff? Neither Guilford, Branford, North Branford, East Haven, Madison, we don't have, we combine our technical resources to whether the call's in Guilford or Madison, and it's kind of a mutual aid system. So procedurally, we're going to treat it no different than a mutual aid call. Should we need to send our people who may be working at the time, we're going to, if they got called to go to an EMS call in East Haven on an ambulance, we'd send the ambulance right away. We're going to send them to this call right away, and then if necessary, we will backfill them with off-duty people.
That was my
And
question.
Guilford's doing the same thing, and the rest of the communities are all doing, that are part of this group are helping each other out. So
We have a formal memorandum of understanding about that.
What's one of the things that I'd like to do, we have a mutual aid agreement that kind of it's a very general thing. It's not a specific thing, but one of the things that I would like to do is revisit all of our mutual aid compacts and make sure that they are all appropriate. Times have changed from some of the language in them really needs to be vetted. So it would be a good idea to have.
To kind of update them all.
Yeah, and then they'll go to town council. He'll vet them again before the chief sign them again. But we do have mutual aid, actual written mutual aid agreements with all of the communities who
Right.
participate in.
Right, right.
Okay, because I have one for East Haven, but I don't have any for Guilford. or
Yeah, I have, well,
North
I
Haven.
have,
Or North Branford, right.
I have them all. And the thing is even if we don't have a formal mutual aid agreement with, for instance, Madison, if they call us and we
You'll
go,
go,
which we
yeah.
have, we, you know,
Oh, you're gonna go anywhere.
We're gonna
yeah. Okay,
So,
okay, yeah, okay. All right, anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
that's it. That's all I had was
Oh,
just
you
that.
got- Okay, motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. Excuse me, second.
Second.
All in favor?
This program was brought to you in part through the support of the Town of Branford. Watch town meetings and other videos on demand at BranfordTV.org.